G'day viewers, how you going out there? Welcome back to part 2 of installing the surge tank on the E36 Lemon, the lab rat. So in the first part of the video, I'll go through mounting the brackets that I made in part 1, and then in the second half I'll show you installing the surge tank, getting it wired up, and then in part 3 I'll show you installing the fuel lines back into the original parts of the OEM fuel system. So what I've currently done now is I've ground off in the boot here where I'm going to mount the plates and drilled holes for the captive nuts to sit in the floor. So I'm just going to go weld them in for now, and I'll get back to you shortly. Thanks. Okay, so now I've completed welding in the plates to mount the surge tank and the fuel pump up to, which you can see just here and here. So they're nice and solid and not going anywhere. I've also wired up my fuel pump and then run those back through into the cabin. We'll go into the cabin and we'll have a look at the wiring I've got to do in there. Won't be really hot. So these are the two wires that come through from the pump at the back, and I'm going to connect those around. The earth will go onto this lug here, and the power will pick up off this wire that runs to the front. So I'll cut this wire here that runs to the OEM pump in the tank there. That will now feed the main pump in the boot, and then I've got this wire here that I've run through on a separate switch that runs this auxiliary pump, which will now run this auxiliary pump as well. So I'll have two feeds out of both of these pumps up to the surge tank to give it constant fuel. So once I've done that, I'll then have to start working on the fuel lines, get them changed over, and then we can get the car started and see how we go. Okay, well, I think we're nearly there. So what we've got in here is our old main feed to the injectors. Now runs up through and into the back and feeds into the top of our surge tank just in here. The main pump comes around through here, through a one-way valve, through a stop valve, and through to the front. I'll show you where it goes in there. So it comes along down into here and feeds into the original fuel line that runs off through the filter and into the injectors. The return line comes back onto this line here and runs up along back to the top of the surge tank and feeds into the top of the surge tank, and then the other line from the top of the surge tank comes up here, feeds down into the old return line, feeding this side of the tank. Then there's a pump on this side that has an internal pipe that runs across to this side to feed the little fuel bowl that supplied the old main pump. Then with the wiring, that wire that I ran through from the front is this one here. It will attach to the main pump, and it's just on an auxiliary switch up on the dashboard. Then the old main feed comes up and we'll solder it onto this wire, and that goes through to the Bosch 044 pump, which will be now our main pump supplying the injectors. So once we've got all that sorted out, we'll try it, see if it works. Should do. I can't see why it won't.